North Korea has acknowledged its deployment of troops to help Russia's war against Ukraine. Russia's Putin openly thanked Kim Jong-un as Moscow went further to signal its willingness to offer military assistance to the north if needed. Having been elected as the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, Liberal standard-bearer Lee Jae-myung officially kicked off his campaign by paying tribute to former presidents, those from both liberal and conservative sides alike, and underscored the need for unity. The People Power Party took sharp aim at its liberal rival as it prepares to announce the second round of its primary voting results tomorrow. The four presidential hopefuls were busy today, campaigning until the last minute. It's April 28th, 8 p.m. in Seoul. This is Newscenter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. North Korea has acknowledged its deployment of troops to help Russia's war against Ukraine, citing its treaty with Moscow for the fight that has led to a large number of North Korean casualties. As Putin openly thanked Kim Jong-un, Moscow has signaled military assistance to Pyongyang if necessary. Kim Bo-kyung gives us the details.
North Korea confirmed for the first time that it has sent troops to support Russia's war efforts against Ukraine. Citing the North's ruling party, the state news agency KCNA said Monday that the troop deployment was ordered by leader Kim Jong-un himself, who made the decision under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty, which he signed with Russian President Vladimir Putin last year. Article 4 of the treaty says North Korea and Russia shall immediately provide military and other assistance to the other party if it falls into a state of war due to armed invasion from an individual or multiple states. Putin thanked the North Korean leader for deploying troops to Russia. Russia's TASS news agency reported Monday that Putin said he commends the North Korean soldiers' heroism, adding that friendship and cooperation between Pyongyang and Moscow will continue to grow. Citing the treaty, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov also said on the same day that Russia could provide military assistance to North Korea if necessary, while stating there are no current plans for a meeting between Putin and Kim. Meanwhile, the South Korean government criticized the North's deployment of troops, saying it threatens global security.
We strongly urge the immediate withdrawal of North Korean troops. If the military cooperation between North Korea and Russia continues, we will not stand by idly and will respond firmly with the international community.
North Korea's announcement comes after Russia on Saturday local time said that all Ukrainian troops were forced out of the western Russian region of Kursk with the help of North Korean troops.
I would like to separately note the participation of the servicemen of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in the liberation of the border areas of the Kursk region, who provided significant assistance in the defeat of the wedged group of the Ukrainian armed forces.
South Korea's intelligence agency in October of last year assessed that around 12,000 North Korean troops had been deployed to the Kursk region. Such deployment led to a large number of casualties, around 4,000, and 2 North Korean soldiers were even captured by Ukrainian forces this January. Yet Pyongyang deployed an additional 3,000 troops to the Kursk region between January and February of this year, according to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
North Korea's confirmation of active combat duty by its soldiers in support of Russia has left pundits pondering over the purpose of this announcement. Kim Jong-soo spoke to a few of them.
Just days after Russia confirmed North Korea's involvement, Pyongyang made its own public acknowledgement. Experts say the move aligns with Moscow's victory narrative in recapturing the Kursk region and signals stronger ties between the two.
Since President Putin publicly acknowledged the deployment on the 26th, this revelation from North Korea seems to have been made in coordination with Russia.
According to experts, Moscow and Pyongyang likely coordinated their messages to maximize their diplomatic impact. With Russia declaring victory in Kursk, North Korea strategically positioned itself as a key player in this ongoing conflict, both militarily and diplomatically.
North Korea is emphasizing its contribution to the victory, and by framing its involvement as a legitimate defensive action under the North Korea-Russia Treaty, it is reinforcing its diplomatic standing and legitimacy.
The regime has also seized this moment to publicly address the deaths of North Korean soldiers deployed to Russia, a detail previously withheld from the public since their deployment last year.
North Korea has been educating its people about the deployment, and by promising compensation on a national scale, it seems to believe that any potential backlash can be effectively addressed.
Experts suggest Monday's announcement could also set the stage for a summit between Putin and Kim ahead of Russia's Victory Day celebration next month. However, they note that North Korea may prefer a bilateral meeting to avoid Kim being one of many leaders at a multilateral event. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
On the political front, the Democratic Party has elected its party candidate for the presidential race. Jae-myung officially kicked off his campaign with a move seen as an attempt to broaden his appeal to centrist and conservative voters. Shin Ha-young reports.
Jae-myung has been confirmed as the DP's presidential nominee after winning 89.77% of the vote.
No surprises as expected. The Democratic Party wrapped up its presidential primaries on Sunday with a victory for former party leader Lee Jae-myung. In his acceptance speech, Lee blamed himself for losing in the last presidential election and vowed to win this time.
I will win and take back the government. I promise to build a new Korea full of hope and energy to repay your trust.
According to the DP, Lee won the votes of over 90% of party members and delegates and over 89% in a public poll of 1 million people. With both results weighted 50% each, he secured 89.77% of the total vote. It's the highest figure ever recorded in a presidential primary among DP-affiliated candidates. His two opponents, Kim Dong-yeon, who came in second with 6.87%, and Kim Kyung-soo, who followed with 3.36%, finished well behind.
Lee Jae-myung, who stayed as the frontrunner throughout the primary, is now running for president as the Democratic Party's candidate for the second time following his presidential bid in 2022.
Lee kicked off his first day as a presidential candidate with a visit to the Seoul National Cemetery on Monday morning. He paid tribute to former presidents, including those from the conservative side, seen as a move to emphasize unity and expand his appeal to centrist and conservative voters.
We must work to unite the country. While I'm the DP's candidate, I'll also do my best to become a candidate for all the people. I hope today's cemetery visit doesn't spark new conflict.
In the afternoon, Lee held a meeting at SK Hynix headquarters on AI memory semiconductors. Ahead of the meeting, he emphasized his goal of making South Korea the top semiconductor country and pledged to quickly pass a special act aimed at boosting the domestic semiconductor industry. Meanwhile, the DP plans to launch its election campaign committee on Wednesday. Shin Ha-young, Arirang News.
The People Power Party was quick to take sharp aim at its rival, as the party is in the process of electing its contender, with the second round of its primary voting results slated for tomorrow. Kim Do-yeon reports.
The People Power Party took shots at its rival, the Democratic Party of Korea, on Monday, saying that its convention, where the party announced its presidential candidate, was nothing more than a coronation ceremony.
It was virtually a coronation for Lee Jae-myung, proving that the Democratic Party has become a one-man dictatorship under his leadership, with an overwhelming 89.77% of the vote. Some even said it already felt like a Democratic Party government would be in place in just 40 days.
The comments came as the PPP's second round of voting by eligible PPP members continues throughout Monday until 10 p.m. For this round, the final vote will be calculated by amalgamating the 50% of this vote with 50% from an open public survey. The results of the voting will be announced on Tuesday, and if no one receives more than 50% of the final tally, there will be a runoff between the top two contenders, with the final results coming on May 3rd during the PPP's convention. The four contestants, Kim Moon-soo, An Cheol-soo, Han Dong-un, and Hong Jun-pyo, continue to promote their candidacy. Kim focused on media interviews and kept an on-air campaign, doing 3 live interviews and a press briefing in one day. An visited the Daejeon National Cemetery before announcing his pledges for the Chungcheongdo provinces. Han visited the Hyunchungsa Shrine in Asan City. As it's a place to honor the famous Admiral Lee Sun-shin, Han revealed his military and security pledges there. Hong visited the Korea Federation of SMEs to assess the state of the industry. Meanwhile, acting President and Prime Minister Han Duck-soo's possible declaration of candidacy, which started as a speculation, seems to be emerging as a key variable in the PPP's presidential primary. Local reports confirm the PM's chief of staff and 3 others resigned from their current posts, likely to prepare for the election. Among the 4, Kim Moon-soo is the only one so far who has welcomed the idea of Han running for the presidency. An and Hong have openly criticized the idea, while Han Dong-un has so far refrained from a direct answer, saying he will focus on the primary. That said, the 3 did pledge to merge their camps with the acting president if he does run and if they win the primary. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
U.S. President Donald Trump is approaching his 100th day back in the Oval Office. Amid his strong, unpredictable push on tariff policies, several polls show that Trump's approval ratings have been dropping recently. Park Go-nu has the details.
U.S. President Donald Trump continues to push forward with his tariff policies as he approaches 100 days back in office. On Sunday local time, Trump posted on social media that many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced or even eliminated when the tariffs take effect. He added numerous jobs and new factories are being created, also hinting at the External Revenue Service, which will take charge of tariffs, is on its way. However, Trump's recent approval ratings have been in decline. A Washington Post poll conducted by Ipsos in April showed that just under 40% of American adults approve of Trump's job performance, while 55% disapprove. That's down from 2 months ago when 45% approved and 53% disapproved. And the result marks the lowest 100-day approval rating for any president, as most enjoy honeymoons early into their terms, despite eventual drops later in the first year. Regarding applying tariffs to imported goods, more than 6 in 10 say they disapprove of Trump's economic policy. A new CNN poll by SSRS also showed Trump's approval rating at 41%. The lowest for any newly elected president since Dwight Eisenhower, including Trump's own first term. The numbers were down by 4 percentage points from March and 7 from February. Along with these results, Trump had previously announced a 90-day pause on imposing reciprocal tariffs on trading partners, which pundits say is part of his deal-making strategy.
Trump loves deal-making, and the tariffs, pauses, these deadlines are all sort of part of that process. I think it's keeping pressure on the counterparties and perhaps giving local firms time to sort of plan where they source and manufacture their products.
He added that given the Trump administration's unpredictability, Trump's next move will likely depend on who he's negotiating with if he doesn't get what he wants after the 90-day period. And with the temporary pause set to expire in July, attention is now turning to Trump's next steps. Park Go-nu, Arirang News.
Amid concerns in Seoul over Chinese structures built in disputed waters of the West Sea, Foreign Minister Cho Tae-yeol has said the government is considering building a maritime research center in the area as a reciprocal measure. Cho told the parliament on Monday that the country is going through a comprehensive review of factors, such as economic feasibility to determine the type of structure they would build. He added that they will continue to assess the situation while observing how China responds going forward. From 2018 until last year, China built 3 structures in the provisional maritime zone, where the two countries' exclusive economic zones overlap. China claimed the structures were built for fish farming, but this led to concerns in Seoul that Beijing could possibly be seeking territorial rights in the area. Pope Francis' tomb was open to the public on Sunday, and thousands of mourners lined up to pay their respects. The late Pope was laid to rest at the Santa Maria Maggiore Church in Rome, with a single white rose placed on the tomb engraved only with his Latin name, Franciscus. Pope Francis passed away on April 21st at the age of 88. Following his funeral on Saturday, the Vatican will now prepare for the conclave, the process to elect a new pope, which is expected to begin between May 5th and May 10th. On the cultural frontier in Seoul, palaces across the capital city are offering visitors the chance to partake in practices of the past on the royal grounds. Choi Soo-hyung has this report.
As the guards begin their shift with the sound of drums signaling the start of morning, a new day at Gyeongbokgung Palace starts. This year's K-Royal Culture Festival, which started on Saturday, is taking place at Seoul's 5 major palaces, Gyeongbokgung, Changdeokgung, Deoksugung, Changgyeonggung, and Gyeonghee-gung, as well as the Jung-hoo Shrine. Visitors can join a program where they experience royal life from the Joseon Dynasty, which lasted from the late 14th century to the turn of the 20th century. One highlight is time travel with King Sejong, where visitors can experience important moments from King Sejong's life, such as the creation of Hangul, the Korean alphabet, and other historical achievements. The biggest feature of this year's festival is that visitors can do more than just watch, they can actually participate. Visitors can act as royal palace apprentices, making royal desserts and trying out royal dances. And they can experience daily life as it was about 500 years ago.
My friend invited me to join the program. The weather was so great, and when I tried it myself, it was easy and so much fun for anyone to enjoy.
This year is the 11th edition of the festival. Last year, more than 960,000 people visited the event, making it one of the Seoul's most visited festivals. The Korea Heritage Service created a variety of programs that match current trends, different age groups, and even special programs for foreigners.
Last year, we focused mainly on performances showing daily life. This year, we wanted to give the audience a chance to join in and interact before the show starts. We also encouraged foreigners to participate, focusing more on hands-on experiences rather than just delivering lines.
In front of Gyeongbokgung Palace, you can enjoy traditional crafts and goods. At Deoksugung Palace, near Seoul City Hall, there is a special program for foreigners called the Emperor's Table. Visitors can taste traditional royal food from the Korean Empire period and hear stories about the food and about Korean history in English. This year, there's a special program called Spring Day at Gyeonghee to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the country's liberation. Independence heroes and their families have been invited to special performances at Gyeonghee Pavilion in Gyeongbokgung Palace. The festival will continue until May 4th at the 5 palaces and Jung-hoo Shrine. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
Time now to take a look at what's been happening in the world of sports. Joining us in the studio is our sports editor, Paul Neat. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's begin with baseball. Jung-hoo's hitting streak continues.
Yes, to 5 matches now. The latest came on Sunday local time in the San Francisco Giants' 3-2 home win over the Texas Rangers. Jung-hoo batted 1 for 4 and recorded an assist from center field. He has now gone on hitting streaks of at least 5 games on 3 occasions this season, his longest being 8 games. The assist, meanwhile, came in the top of the 4th inning when he threw out Jonah Heim at second base. The San Francisco Giants sit first in the National League West following 19 wins. In other news, Yonhap reports that Jae-myung will enlist in the military this May. Reports suggest that the 34-year-old will serve as a social service worker for 1 year and 9 months and will be able to sign for a KBO club from the start of the 2027 season. The first baseman has played for the LA Angels, the New York Yankees, the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Tampa Bay Rays.
And moving on to golf, Kim Hyo-joo came very close to winning the first LPGA major of the season.
Yes, very close. In fact, it came down to a 5-way playoff. Kim Hyo-joo on Sunday at the LPGA Chevron Championship in Texas finished at 7 under par. Mao Saigo of Japan finished as the winner. Kim and Saigo, as well as Arya Jutanugan of Thailand and Yin Runang of China, as well as Lindy Duncan of the United States, all went into what was the first 5-way playoff in LPGA major history. Kim finished in second, but there were 4 South Koreans in the top 10. Yoo Hae-ran and Ko Jin-young finished tied for 6th place, and Choi Hye-jin finished tied for 9th.
And finally, to football. Liverpool are the champions of England.
Yes, that's right. They sealed the Premier League title on Sunday. It came following a 5-1 win at home over Tottenham Hotspur, a Tottenham Hotspur side that was without Son Heung-min. It was Liverpool's second of the Premier League era and the first with fans in the stands, as their last league title came in 2020 during the pandemic when matches were being played behind closed doors. It's also a record equaling top flight number 20 title for them. It came with 4 matches still to play, with Liverpool 15 points ahead of Arsenal in second. Meanwhile, in Germany, Bayern Munich and Kim Min-jae are edging ever closer to winning the Bundesliga title. Bayern beat Mainz 3-0 on Sunday and sit 8 points clear of Bayer Leverkusen with 3 games to go. A result away to RB Leipzig on Saturday, May 3rd, would ensure a first Bundesliga medal for Kim Min-jae since joining Bayern Munich, but is second in Europe, having also won Serie A in Italy with Napoli.
All right, thanks for that, Paul. See you next time.
Thank you.
The sun is shining across the country today. The temperatures will stay very similar to the average for this time of year throughout the week. However, it will only be 8 degrees Celsius in Seoul tomorrow morning, feeling a bit chilly. The daytime temperature on Wednesday will then rise to 25 degrees, as hot as early summer. With sunny weather, the atmosphere is drying up. Currently, dry weather advisories have been expanded to some western regions, including Seoul. In addition, dry weather warnings are in place in the mountainous areas of Gangwon-do Province and Gyeongsangbuk-do Province. Tomorrow morning, many areas will start off in the single digits, with Daejeon at 5 degrees and Gyeongju at 6 degrees. Daily highs will move up to as warm as 20 degrees across the country. There's more rain forecast all over the country from Thursday afternoon. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. That is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session up next.